Can detours be divine? Can they be fated? Could they be part of a larger purpose? Yes, I believe. Yes, I believe they can. Mine was, in those 5 years at the Bulletin, with every story, I did hone my skills as a writer. I did gain a good public reputation and formed contacts and networks that would one day play a big part in the big picture of my Flashdance. I even got to Asia on a 6-week reporting tour with USA Today, a trip that would later inspire a film idea. Those 5 years were filled with unforgettable adventures that also sharpened my character, that allowed me to see who I was on the inside and how I wanted to be in the world of work and creativity and relationships. More than any other story, one event set me on a course of authenticity, of being my true self. Ever been asked to do something that you felt was all wrong, that you really didn't want to do? That was me in July 1986. A phone call came from my Honolulu editors, came to my Maui office, and they said to me, get to Hana, over to the west side of Maui, and find Caroline Kennedy, the only daughter of our late President, John F. Kennedy. She had just gotten married and was said to be honeymooning in Hana. Get the story, get pictures, I was ordered. Associated Press and USA Today are breathing down our necks. I hung up the phone, and everything in me said, oh no, I don't want to bother those poor people. They're on their honeymoon. The press and the paparazzi had swarmed them at their wedding, and I'm sure their only desire was to be alone and escape to quiet, beautiful, isolated Hana. For the first time as a reporter, I felt at odds with my job. I felt torn. I felt human. I felt deeply for Caroline and Ed. Everything in me said, don't bother them, don't violate their privacy. Sometimes city desk editors and managing editors have no idea what a reporter faces out there in the real world of unfolding news events. They want only the story, no matter what. And they want it now. They don't care about your feelings, or if you feel you violated someone else, or your own morality, or your own ethics. They just want the story. As my boss said to me when I balked at doing this job and was prepared to draw my line, even to the point of quitting, you're a reporter, aren't you? Then do your job. And he slammed the phone. After some tears and phone calls to friends to seek encouragement and to help me find my courage, I did my job. And I got the story, and I got the photo, but I did it my way. It was on the front pages of the Star Bulletin and USA Today, and in newspapers and tabloids around the world. The most horrific headline and story were in the New York Post tabloid. Caroline and Ed quit their honeymoon hotel over invasion by paparazzi. It mentioned me by name and said Caroline and Ed had left in a huff. Now, that was not true. They didn't leave in a huff. They did not storm out of their hotel. There was no swarm of paparazzi, just me. And a backup photographer from the Bulletin that they had sent over from Oahu. I had checked in to their $450 a night hotel. the Bulletin okayed it. Because I convinced them so I couldn't get thrown off the property, right? So I was a guest, and in a few days, respectfully arranged for that photo. I can't tell you how I did this, how I got the photo. I can only say that I did it my way. Some of what I did, my paper still does not know today. And so I won't be divulging it here either. What I can tell you is that I acted with care and respect, with consideration and courtesy. I violated no privacy, and remaining true to my own sense of ethics, I did my job, which I believe to this day were above the ethics of my editors. Through that one event surfaced my true self, my true voice, and my tipping point in journalism. I knew soon I would be ready to move on. In 1988, 2 years later, the day finally arrived when my passion rose again. This time wanting to live above ground, to have its life, to have its dance. After I had returned from that 6-week reporting tour in Asia with USA Today and was now assigned to the city desk in Honolulu, I had one of those mammogram scares. It was still the days when the big C, cancer, was feared, and when it could be a death sentence. As I waited for the test to come back, I sat in my recliner in my home, and I tried to calm my fears by reasoning with myself. If the test comes back negative, well, life will go on. Or I might have a year or so to live, then what? Or I might have to be mutilated. So, let's say everything was all right, I said to myself, and I was given a chance to live out my life. What would I do? What should I do? I closed my eyes and looked deep, deep into myself, into my soul, and I asked, what is it that burns in you? What do you burn for? Well, you know, that little flame of passion was still burning inside. I had truly forgotten it because it had stayed small for all those years. But it was still alive, and I blurted out, I want to make films. That's what I really want to do. And in that moment, clarity and focus hitched themselves to my flame, and the flame became a star of courage that wanted to soar high above the sky of my life. The test came back normal, and I knew I had to follow my star. At the end of 5 years, at the Bulletin, that canyon that was now just a step across one path, journalism, to another, film. 2 paths had now converged. They had come together.